Hello, I'm in the studio again, and we are going to tackle clearing out some of the stuff. Did I decide to make this video series while battling the third worst haircut I've ever had in my life? Yes, but we're making do with it. Did I decide to make this video while I only really have about 45 minutes before my next meeting? Yes. Did I decide to make this video while I had impulsively bought myself a Deliveroo order of some matcha latte and some hash browns? Also, yes. Plus, in case anyone's like watching this video and thinking, wow, she's so organized to finally be cleaning and going through all this stuff, I want you to understand that there is an extreme amount of executive dysfunction going on here, actually, because I've been meaning to deal with my closet for several weeks. My dishes are not done. My house is not in order. I have a lot of other things I'm supposed to be doing. And so this is an avoidance behavior. Yay. Okay, great. Now that we have that covered, I'm going to set you down somewhere and we're going to try to go through the studio. Okay, this seems like about right. I do have the Insys 360 flow thing charged. This is what my phone is on right now. Yes, I'm using the front camera of my iPhone. Back off. But I can't be bothered to actually fix the Flow app or to get the camera to connect to it. So it can't do the cool following thing, but that's probably just as well. So we're going to start off with a few, I think if we go through categories, that's probably best. So starting with each maybe product that I need to clear out and get rid of. So let's start with the aromatherapy essential oil products. Okay, this is the first sort of group of stuff. First being this box of the labels that I spent 2,000 pounds on. If you saw the other video, you know. It's not always this disheveled. This is disheveled because I was really frustrated that I was about to get rid of 2,000 pounds worth of labels I didn't use. And so whenever I needed to grab a label to fulfill an order, I just started chucking it in there like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. So yeah, next I have the bottles themselves. So this is pre-sanitized. So this is just how I get them from the manufacturer, and then I'd run them through a sanitizer. I also have a strip of these little tactile labels, which have the warning triangle for people who are sight challenged. Got these from like a vape shop. And then when I was selling online, or not selling online, when I was selling on rented shelves, I also didn't want people to open them. So I had these little shrink wrapper toppers to preserve both the sanitary environment of the essential oil and to preserve it from getting oxidized. So that's the very basic like packaging part of it. As I was filming this, I accidentally hit a button on my table and realized that this table is an adjustable, raisable desk. I never use this. Why don't I use this? Okay, that was hard. Put that in the other room, which is now with all the clothes I'm supposed to put away in my closet, so they can live together. So that was the packaging. One thing I forgot is that I would have to physically write the like batch number and expiry date with this cool aerospace pen that was the best, like held up the best against water, oils, and things like that. So I will keep this. Now, for actually like mixing and putting things together, I did before I moved up to Scotland have this big, like almost like drum thing that you could pour stuff in and then it would dispense exactly the amount that was needed to fill a 10 ml bottle. That was really cool. Would have been more useful, I think, if I was like a lip gloss manufacturer, though, because I didn't really use it that much and it was bulky and stupid. So if you're thinking of getting into this type of business, you do not need that tool. Guys, my matcha came. I'll just quickly finish here and then I'll go enjoy my matcha and then go to my meeting and then come back later. So the other random stuff I had was this stirring kit. So you place like a glass beaker on top of here, and then you put these magnets in the bottom, and it will automatically stir it. I saw something like this, maybe not this exact one, on the Whales Perfumery Instagram. And I was like, that looks so cool. I want to do that to mix my blends. I used it once, and then I was like, I'm not so sure this is like really that easy to clean or worth it, or like keeping a totally sterile environment. So I never use it again. ADHD. I also wanted to like expand this to having kind of pre-made off-the-shelf aromatherapy stuff, not skincare, but off-the-shelf aromatherapy stuff. So I also was looking at like, having stuff to pre-make my own blends and everything and have them like stored and itemized, and didn't do that. Was going to sell like as part of my actual therapy business, giving people stuff to take home. These are boxes that would have fit a 10 ml roller ball. These would have fit maybe, like, not clearly this size bottle, but something like this. Not sure why I have those. Something booped downstairs, scared me. And then I was R&Ding, research and developing, lots of different like spray tops, lotion tops. These I got from, I'll have to put it on the screen because I can't remember, but some Italian or German like cosmetics place. These were from Ampula. It was like, oh, you have like square versus round tops, etc. etc. Never did anything with it. Thought better, but didn't want to go through all the skincare testing that you would have to do. Like shelf life testing, it's very expensive. Worth it. Totally understand doing it. But I was like, what? At least that's like the one time I stopped myself doing something. Thank God. So yeah, that's all the aromatherapy essential oil stuff for the most part. I forgot one thing. I got business cards, not to be business cards, but I got them from Moo for each of the essential oils. So it has like the energetics and some of the history and things. Oh, look at my fingernail. Don't look at my fingernail, I mean. And then on the back, it has like the safety instructions and stuff. I sold like 2 of these essential oils, guys. I sold a couple more like in situ at retail stores. And just now when I announced the clearance and I'm like getting rid of everything, I sold for the very first time like the bundle of all 7. I won't name you, but if you're watching this, you made my day. I was like, finally, someone's going to be able to see the whole vision. And actually, speaking of the vision, just real quick, a detail people probably didn't even really notice unless you're that one person. Each of these essential oils has a little Roman numeral number. And it's so that if you wanted to line them up alphabetically, you could just do it by Roman numeral number as well. I thought about these little OCD type things and little details like that. R.I.P. R.I.P. Okay, my meeting got canceled. My matcha latte has been drank. I feel less time pressured. Okay, next stuff on my list is something I never even sold. Like, I never even got to a point where the product was good enough to consider selling. But I've hung on to this stuff. I hung on to this stuff even through the move. So let's see if you can guess what it is. This would have been the thing it came in, packaging. The label would have been made out of some rice paper. This is actually the envelope for the rice paper that I never even opened. Any guesses? I would have mixed these ingredients together, dried it on this kind of rack. You can see I did try. Clearly failed because there's a lot of product sticking to that. No guesses yet. There's a lot of random stuff in here. Well, here's one that it would have looked like. So the Japanese incense stick. That's so good. Did a lot of research, down lots of rabbit holes on lots of websites in Japan to figure out like what brands there were, because I thought maybe I'll just stock other people's incense. Then I decided, why don't I just make incense? This one's hard to get rid of because these aren't even opened. And I had my father send these to me from from the Incense Dragon. I should try at least once, right? 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 Put it in the other room anyway. If I get creative, maybe I'll have a friend over and we can make some incense or something. Okay, this one's going to be painful. If you saw my other video, you know that I made a boo-boo and I accidentally gold-plated the electric plates for my plater. Can I flip it around and use it like this? Maybe. I'm not an expert. So at minimum, I was going to get a new one of these. But also, the solution, sticky. I need to wash my hands. I shouldn't have touched that. Okay. I'm back with gloves. Listen, do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? Because you never know when something not as clean as you thought you left it. And you never know when you're going to touch corrosive chemicals that really shouldn't go on the skin, okay? So the other thing I did, I'll bring you around. So here's the globe plating solution that I think I burnt. Here is the palladium plating solution and the cleaning solution. So you clean platinum, palladium, and then gold plate. Here's a little node switcher thing. So problem is, pretty sure it's burnt. I could set it all up and just like triple check, see if it happens to plate something, and then maybe I haven't wasted 800 pounds. At the same time, I have so much anxiety and like stress hooking that machine up. I've only run it like 3 times. One time was guided by the guy who sold it to me. So it's like the idea of going and trying to plate something just to try to see if it still works when I'm not even going to sell gold jewelry anymore, and if I'm just making stuff for myself, like I don't need to plate it, feels silly. The thing is, I have a little extra solution. This is non-burnt, legit solution. And the idea is like you could just top up the tanks with it. So I'm like, should I just get a new solution and then I can use this? No, right? No, because I think the most logical thing is to not be upset about the fact that this is wasted. Pour the wasted junk into this and then have the chemicals like collection agency people come pick it up. The other thing that I have that you've probably seen in the back of videos and my dad says like looks like something weird is deionized water. What deionizing water does, I don't know. Presumably it takes away some ions. Yeah, anyway, so this was to clean the jewelry in between steps. And I have a bucket and a pressurized washer thing. Here's the thing, folks. If I get rid of the plating solution stuff, I don't need this deionized water. I can pour it on my plants and waste all this plastic. I'm sure I can find some other use for extra clean water. Like, I'm looking at this setup though, going, I need to get ready to take it down. Now is the time. Okay. If I do it on camera, I'll feel less sad, I think. Yeah, it really is this serious. So if you're wondering why I hated doing it, as soon as I put this on, I was like, yeah, this is why I hate doing it. Because I feel trapped in here for the whole process. All right, windows open. I'm just going to try to quickly do this. That feels really good, and not just because I'm not having to wear a Darth Vader mask on my face anymore, although there lines. I've been meaning to put that away for like 2 months. I haven't been able to bring myself to do it, and it's done. So I'm just gonna wait for this little mark to cool down, and then I can keep filming. Also, I need to go sit down after that. That was emotional. My face has gone back to normal. I had a wee lie down. Right. We're carrying on. We're keeping calm. Doing all the things. So next step. There's a fly. When I had my previous tins, and I think I might actually still have some. Let me try to find them. Found the tins, and I also found that it's not a fly, it's a bee, and not like a good bee. There's like low-key hornet's nests all throughout the buildings in this development. I'm just choosing not to think about it. So here were my previous tins. They fit, I think this is a A5 paper, C6 tin. That might be completely wrong. A6 paper must be C610. Anyway, I had these screen printed. They're filthy. They're at the top of this closet, but they fit 6 wax melts perfectly in here. Some wax melts used to be in here. It smells lovely. But when I rebranded, I obviously couldn't use Apothecary anymore, and no one really ended up getting the tins that often. I thought they were cool because you could also put like your little witchy supplies, sort of like a gigantic Altoids tin. People didn't really care. So and then realized that these tins, which were really, I guess for creams, you can also make candles in them, although they'd get really hot. I don't know if I would make a candle in them. Fit 3 and then 3. So I can still fit the 6. Well, wax melts in the new gold tin. Now, one thing I feel a little bit better about is there's only probably, 12, well, only like 22 of these tins that are not going to be put to use for now. I do plan to make some Christmas wax melts. So I'll have a frankincense and myrrh wax melt and a solstice spice reformulated wax melt. So I'm pretty sure I will use these up. So I'll keep these. Also, quick R&D. Do you prefer this matte black tin to the gold tins if I were to do wax melts again in the future? Hit me in the comments. Here's like the difference. Here's with it labeled. It's a label lab. Can you imagine this like on this? Probably the dark blue wouldn't work, huh? White on black? Think about it. Okay, the last big thing that I need to be a big girl about, it's all my jewelry stuff. Let me tell you a little story about these boxes. They came from a lovely packing place. I'll put their name hopefully on the screen if I remember, or in the comments, in Denmark. And the original boxes came and the Q had somehow got cut off. It was an O. So I had to have these sent to me twice. Second time they went to my old London flat. Had to then get my ex-neighbor to send these to me in Scotland. But they made it. They had a long journey. I wanted to honor that journey. There is both a necklace/earring version of the insert And there's a ring box. Cute little ring box. That's your guy. You could put the jewelry in a little pouch as well. And this fits in here. And then I had very nice man in China make these for me, which also fit just about in here. And what is it? Monogrammed jewelry cleaning paper pouch cloth, silver cloth. These I'm not going to get rid of because I still believe, I still have the faith that one day if I reoffer jewelry and figure out a way to make it cheaper for you guys, that you might enjoy it. If you wanted to see what self-delusion looks like, I think I just caught it on camera. Also, I realized that I have an account with the Edinburgh Assay Office, who are the people who analyze the purity of the metals in jewelry or like any object, and they stamp it with like the sterling number and stuff. And they made a little stamp with my EQ logo, exactly like you just saw. And I never actually sent anything to them because I always kept saying, well, I'll do it when I'm actually selling stuff. Girl. And thinking about that little stamp sitting in that little Edinburgh office with those sweet people who mark jewelry. I'm really bummed. Like, I didn't realize when I started making this how bummed out I was going to feel. It's no one's fault but your own. And also, the fact this is an empty one. Some of these are empty. Chloe, why are you keeping these? But this is the thing. I keep things thinking like maybe I'll use them one day. Like, what am I going to use this for? But I spent money on it, so I keep it. I'm getting rid of these too. So I think I've actually gotten rid of or like moved to the room where we shall not name because it's full of my clean clothes all over the floor that need to be put in the closet. Everything else now I'm keeping, but is not in the right place because now I've made new places for things. So I think the next step is really to start moving furniture around and then reorganizing everything. And I'm going to try to do a little time lapse of me not cleaning, but like moving stuff around. So enjoy. I'm not so sure if this placement works. I do want this area to be like my office desk, and I was trying to like get all of this out of frame. So I might have to keep reshuffling the room a little bit or rethink the office layout, put my office in the other room. I hate what I've done. So I think I'm going to have to leave it here for now and probably come back later this evening or tomorrow after I've had a bit more of a think. Hello. Day 2. I actually tried to style my hair today, made it worse. So there we are. The lady that cut my hair, when she first like cut it, I said, I feel like I look like a mushroom until you curl it. I was like, that's not what I want from a haircut. And she curled it and she couldn't make it look nice. I don't know why today I decided, if I curl it, I'll make it look nice. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Yesterday, I did move around things in this room. So I removed the table that had the plating stuff and I shoved basically everything from behind to the side. It's not working for me. And maybe part of the reason it's not working is I actually initially intended to have my studio in the other room, which is currently the spare room, which is currently where I put all the junk. And that spare room is meant to be the guest room. But at the last minute when I moved up here, I swapped them to decide I wanted the bigger of the 2 spare rooms to be my studio. And it did fit everything. So it was like useful, but I think I had too much stuff. And maybe I'll feel better if since I've consolidated, I actually move to the other room. So yeah, what I'm going to do this morning is just continue trying to like move the furniture around. And then I think I'll be able to reorganize everything once I can like visualize where it's going to go. So that's the mission. So here's all the stuff that we cleared the other day, including where I've stuck my guitar, but I'm not getting rid of that. Although one might argue I should because I never play it. But I think like space-wise, there is just enough space to have a candle business in here for sure. And just that might also help force me to not do anything other than candles for a while. So I can move everything except for the big like movable desk. It's really heavy and across carpets, I don't think I can like slide it. So yeah, let's try to move stuff here and then this is gonna work. Okay, so I actually ended up somehow getting this table into this room. And thank God that it actually does move up and down because I was able to rise the tabletop up above the height of the banister, get it to turn. So this is going to work out really good because now this is across from where I will do all the melting for the candles. And then there's a protective surface now that connects the two stations so I can do the melting and then the pouring. I now also can get rid of another one of these tables, which I've been wanting to get rid of for like 6 years because it just keeps surviving every move with me and it's like wobbly and I'd have to like do some carpentry to it. I just want to get rid of it. So get rid of that. Then that'll free up some more space to keep moving some of the storage things around and get this really nice in here. But I definitely was ambitious when I thought this would only take me a day. I do think even if I come back after work tonight to do some more organization and cleaning, that it will still take a couple of days probably. Maybe only one. I'd keep estimating it's going to take me less time than it's taking me. Just because it's a lot of thinking. And if you saw my other video in the series, like I'm filming these pretty much consecutively and my ADHD is like really bad when I'm on my period. So it's like my brain is not braining right now. And this is taking a lot of like planning and stuff, but it's going to feel really good when it's done. So, and I think like tomorrow is the full moon. So it'd be nice to like have it all done on the full moon and just like start over. So yeah, I'm going to go to the store now, get myself a soda, a little treat, maybe get some essentials like bread. And then I'll probably do my day job work for a bit. And then maybe come back tonight and keep working in here on organizing stuff. But like it just already feels better. There's like more sunlight, I think, in here for part of the day, even though the sun's actually like on the back of the house. It just feels more open in here for some reason. So yeah, I think this is going to be an inspiring space to work. And it already feels better. I like already realized that the amount of just being surrounded by stuff was very stressful. And I do really believe that the more stuff in your house, your brain is thinking about it all the time. Like, I don't know how it works. Maybe because we're creating our own realities, but like, it feels better. That's all I know. So I'll see you later when we get back to it. I think I've mostly made it. So here's the new studio. It's, as you can see, maybe a smaller space, which is actually kind of cozy and nice. So I have a little studio tour here. I have my candle making worktop, which, by the way, this isn't real stainless steel. I got scammed by this furniture company. Never mind. Got this like embossing tool thing that just can heat up the tops. My little scale, thermometer. I've got another mini scale in here for when I did dyes. All my wick. And here right now, all I have is my label centering tool, which is, by the way, from the Label Wizard. I had my dad send this to me from America. Absolutely game changing. I'm obsessed. Then in here, I've got my kind of medium sized melter, my wax molds, my smaller like one-off melters, which are from Chandler and me. This is the table that I think I'm going to get rid of. For now, it's going to suit me for just overflow. Managed to get all of my supplies, so my wax, my jars and things, packaging, all of that. Managed to fit this here, turn you around. And then I have my desk, which I think actually I can turn this into an office space as well. The all-important bin. And then for now, I've kept all my jewelry stuff here and I moved the kiln to the top of this just for storage. It's nice that it's nice and small and light. It's irrelevant to you probably what's in the jewelry thing, but I've got like all my masks and stuff, my tools for like blowtorching, the actual like clays and stuff, and hammering tools and clay working tools and so on. So overall, I feel a ton better about the studio. I actually feel like I could create in here again, not just because all the surfaces have been put away from me just like rummaging around that room, but it just feels like the minimalist approach to everything is really going to serve me well. And hopefully I actually make some jewelry for myself and others just for fun now that like the stuff for my jewelry feels more like accessible and not just drowned by all the stuff. The other room is definitely messy. There's a whole bookshelf, this sized bookshelf, the other one of those, full of stuff that needs to be taken to the tip. I've gone through even more fragrance oils and stuff that I was holding in reserve for people, and I'm going to get rid of even more of those. It's time. Unfortunately, I did in the middle of all of this manage to do these clothes that I keep talking about. So my closet is now decluttered, but that means there's bags of clothes in the other room to be taken to a charity shop, and just generally like stuff to clean up and put away. There's still a few things that I want to find better places for. Like this room's closet right now has like all my Christmas decorations and a air mattress and stuff. It's a weird closet though because it's above the stairs. So it's only a half closet. The whole bottom half of the closet is like boarded up because that's where the stairs headroom is. So it's very weird. So it's a kind of a small closet anyway. So I didn't really know what to do with it. I just chucked random stuff in there. It also has carpet on the bottom of the half closet. It's really weird. So I think I'm going to use that space to put all of the packing boxes and stuff, which are currently in the closet in the other room that used to be the studio, which means I'll have more room in there for stuff and just like needing to swap a few last minute things around. But then I think I'll be good to actually hire people to come and get rid of all this for me, really well and truly be like done with it. That's always the best feeling. It's always like the weirdest feeling because not only is like the stuff you're getting rid of, like money that you spent on that you're like losing now, but you also have to like pay someone to take it away. It's like pouring salt on the wound, but it also always does feel better when it's gone. It's weight off my mind kind of thing. So I think I'll be able to finish that. Maybe I will finish that project tonight if I have the energy. Otherwise, I'll just maybe do it tomorrow and just clean up that last room so it's really like ready. And then my goal would be to actually get off my butt. I've been living here for like 7 months now. It's time to turn it into a guest room properly so I can actually have friends and family come stay, which would be really nice. That'll be a good thing to look forward to. I also never decorated that other studio room, and I always wanted to. And maybe I just didn't because I knew I was subconsciously going to move it into this room. So now I can decorate the walls in this room, and that will be a nice project to work on. Maybe I'll save that one for like the winter months when there's nothing else to do. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed just like going through the catalog of random stuff. And I like to just have these types of videos on in the background and see what other people are doing. And I hope it has made you feel better about decluttering your space if you need to declutter things and let go of things. If you're a candle maker or a jewelry maker or an aromatherapist and you were just interested in the stuff that I have in my house, I hope that was also interesting. Yeah, and this has been me cleaning out the studio. The last of the 3 videos, which will be up all at the same time. So if you're working through them chronologically or sequentially, you'll be able to go watch it right now. But the third of these videos is going to be a total reflection in general on lessons learned, I guess, not just in this business, but in everything I've done so far in my wee life, where I have suffered from an ADHD burnout and like thrown everything away and started this new chapter. And I'm always like, it's going to fix everything. So since I'm at this moment now doing one of these big, this is going to change everything moments, I thought I would do a little reflection on that and have a little discussion. So that'll be the last of these 3 videos. Like I said in my first of these videos, maybe these will be up for a while. Maybe I will get cringed out and take them down, but hopefully they'll be up for a bit and you can enjoy them. And if there's any other types of content or things you'd like me to talk about, please leave me a comment or find me on social media and send me a message. Would love to hear from you. And especially if you're a creator and you have your own studio and you want to do something similar to this, bring me along. Like, tell me what you're doing to like get through this process, because I'm sure this won't be the last time I have to do it. So thank you all. I'll catch you on the next one.